Okay, Sunday, sunny day, beautiful sunny day here in New Zealand. So I thought I'd just play around in the garage and mock up some bits on my engine. So I pulled off the factory inlet manifold and set up the first of my bits, which was my Edelbrock high-rise Super Victor style intake manifold for the LS1 Cathederal port. I also have the Edelbrock fuel rails here. Sorry, everything is literally just sitting here, so I'm trying to be careful. I did order the Edelbrock throttle body, but they kept on back ordering it on me, so I just ended up getting a Holley, but it does all the same stuff with the IAC and the TPS and the idle air and stuff like that. I do have the TFS steam port vent. I'm going to do all that Trickflow, sorry, not TFS, Trickflow steam port system, which I'll do when I take the engine out in a couple of weeks to start rebuilding it. I'm going to paint that black, so it'll just kind of offset everything, and then once you get all the shiny from the silver of the intake manifold and the cylinder heads, not those cylinder heads, but these 862 cylinder heads from Total Engineer. It's their stage 2 job with the extra large intake and exhaust ports, capable of about, I think it was 320 cubic feet per minute or something or other at 6,000 RPM. But basically it's all been CNC machined. All the, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in there, it's all been rounded off in the back end up over there. It's all nice and pretty. Double valve springs all set up. And yeah, just the exhaust ports, which don't really matter too much. So I've got two of them obviously. The other one's in the shed behind me. So with those nice looking cylinder heads matching the intake manifold, we should be good to go. Also have the Speed Engineering stainless manifold with the 1 7/8 primaries, 4-into-1 with a 3-inch collector and oxy sensor down there. I did have to take this one off, which is the factory gearbox cross member, or I had modified it earlier. It was just touching on the edge of the manifold over there. So I'm going to knock about an inch and a half out of this, so I can make up a skid plate to go along under to the other side. But is that not going to look cool when you pop the hood on my Chevy truck? On this side here, oops, as I said, everything's just sitting here mocked up at the moment. I've got a double-sized, what do we got here, steering shaft. So there's my C4 column coming up my C4 standard shaft, which as you can see is too long and would end up hitting here with these manifolds. I can get it to come across, but not with this primary here. These two would have to have been the other way around. So this one would have had to have folded back in, and that one would have had to fold out to allow me to get enough room in here. But then the grommet here would have been hitting the exhaust manifold. So long and the short, I'm just going to make up a new steering shaft, one up to here, some sort of a joint and connector onto the chassis rail, with another universal going up to the steering shaft in there. And you can still see there's the other gearbox cross member and a bit of plate for my skid plate to come out, across, down, and then across the other side. So it's all kind of just sitting there. There's the fuel rail, it's all just sitting there. Note to self, do not prime the car, so maybe unplug the fuel relay. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Starting to just dress up some pretties. I just couldn't wait any longer. 2 weeks is a long time. I think I showed everything in there the other day. Oh, and in here I've tidied up all the wiring, except for the tail lights. But all the fuel tank wiring is all run into here and all the way up to the front. And I've got a heap of conduit stuff here and there to run it all, stay in that and protect it somewhat. So I've just got to run that into the conduit yet. And then after that we can start looking at getting the back of this all tidied up and painted and the new deck board's on. So, and worrying what we're going to do with the fuel tank full of hole, which I haven't quite figured out yet, but we'll get there. So that's my update for today. Hope you enjoyed all my pretty dress ups, and I can't wait to get this thing going.